frets, which you can't help a lot of frets on the flying pigeon.
Mainly because you're in a flying class, aren't you?
Flying pigeons, you've got to give way to a certain amount of flying pigeons.
What do you think causes the frets like this then?
Well, the pigeons are put under pressure as young birds.
A lot of strain?
Yeah, a lot of strain, yeah.
And
overtraining them, and they're probably underweight being overtrained.
And Barney, what's your general opinion what you've studed for today? I mean, you've seen the pigeons now. It's the first time I think you've ever studed or judged in NTU. What's your general opinion of the classes, what you've just been doing?
Well, they're pretty poor on the marks. I mean, the body condition, they're very low in body condition. And I think they're under stress, the birds as well. That's why there's a lot of fret marks.
Yeah. Taking in consideration they are flying birds, they're not exhibition or show birds. And what sort of condition is the winner of the class? I mean, is he in the same sort of condition, or would you say he's outstanding or not?
No. Well, we've done 2 classes up to date. I would think the winners are average.
Average.
I mean,
Well, yeah. Well, could we have a
they
look?
could be better. They could be,
Could you fetch us one of these first, and we'll. Right, Paul, this is, I believe, one of your winners of your class.
Yeah.
Could you just explain to me how it is won and why it is won?
Well, I haven't really found any faults on this week.
Could you just...
I mean, it's a little bit dirty where it's just been lying about in the cage. It's getting a bit
Can you hold him up, Paul, right? Hold a bit higher than you walk. And would you say this is, obviously it's won the class, this is the best one of the class?
This is the best one of the first class that I've done.
And has it got any faults at all, or what?
Well, it ain't got no faults as such, but I mean, it could just be done with a little bit more homework on it, just to trim it.
More wide, a bit low, is it?
A little bit more, perhaps a bath this. Wednesday or Thursday, it could be done with a bath.
Yeah. And what does a bath do, Paul? When you give the pigeon a bath?
I mean, it brings that touch to you, Mick, when you pick the pigeon up. I mean, when you pick the pigeon up...
You say a bath did you for?
It brings that little bit of more condition onto its body.
Yeah. And how often would you say a pigeon needs a bath?
Well,
to prepare it for the show?
I would think at least once a week.
At least once a week. So if you're preparing a bird for, say, a week's time, it needs a bath a week before the show. Would you say?
Well, I'd say at least once a week, but I would think 4 to 5 days before the actual show.
And how would you say you would prepare the bird for a show regarding feeding it? Once you give it the bath, the pigeon then is back in its box or in its...
Put them back in the box. Put them perhaps on a measure. A little bit of barley with it to try and keep it to the weight there. Just to tighten it up a bit.
And what would you do? Would you generally feed it up like you would be feeding a bird for a competition?
Well, sort of, yeah. I do myself.
Yeah, well, that's, yeah. And what do you think about that, Ronnie? How would you go about getting a bird ready for the show?
I would do more or less the same. It is probably as good out of the take. And try and get a bit more weight on the pigeons. Most of these birds have been very, very poor in body.
They're low in body?
Yeah.
And what would you say the reason for that is? If they're all like that sort of condition, why would you say they're like that when they're actually in a national show, when they know when the show is...
Maybe these birds are getting ready to be let out in January.
So what you would say, you might think that some of the lads here have got birds in, might be getting ready for training for competition.
For January, yeah, which is maybe 2 or 3 weeks' time.
I would think myself, Nick, some of the pigeons I've handled today have been flying out.
Have already been flying
out in training.
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously some lads do train earlier than others, obviously.
Some boys train right round.
And how would you go about getting a bird ready regarding feeding? If you were showing next week, what would you do to get the bird ready for a show next week?
I would probably give it as good as food as I could probably give it.
Yeah. And what sort of quantity would you give it?
Roughly the same measure, 4
measure.
teaspoons.
And what is a measure?
4 teaspoons of good corn, probably tares, maples, safflower seeds, maybe a pinch of linseed for the oil content, maybe a bit of niger.
Yeah. And what regarding the last day before the actual show, how would you feed it the last day before the show?
Very, very light. Maybe stuff that will digest very quickly.
And why do you want it to digest very quickly?
Because I don't want any corn in its crop for the show.
I see. So if a pigeon's got corn in his crop in the show, he's obviously going to lose points. He's going to lose marks. Right. Thank you very much, then. Thank you very much, Paul. Eric, you bought 3 birds today on exhibition, and the purpose of the birds today is just to show people your particular type of pigeon and style of pigeon. Now Eric, these particular pigeons which you've got on exhibition today, I see that they fled 20 hours 2 minutes and also 20 hours 20 minutes, which I believe has never been done before in 1 year. Can you tell us something about the pigeons and why and how you think that you've achieved this? Now, obviously, Eric, you've only been flying tipplers recently in the last couple of years. I know you've had pigeons before, but you've just, over the last 2 years, been flying competition in the NTU. You're a member of the Dudley Club, and obviously you've won quite a bit this year in the Dudley Club. Can you tell us something, Eric, how you think you've achieved the fantastic achievement you've done with these particular pigeons? Why do you think that these particular pigeons, and how have you trained them, how have you fed them? Would you say that's got a lot to do with it?
Yeah, what I would make? Well, they're a Bowden breed, and the pigeons will fly, they'll do the time anyway, themselves, they'll do good time. But, as you know yourself, Nick, you've got to put a lot of time into them, training them.
Yeah.
And
would you say then the training has got a lot to do with getting the performance out of a bird?
You only get out what you put in, don't you?
You only get out what you put in. And obviously, with these particular, would you say this particular type of breed is noted for this type of thing?
Well, on the day, it's getting the day right, obviously. And you've got to get your pigeons fit. I mean, I've got them fit. And I just had a bit of luck on the day, mate.
You just had a bit of luck on the day. Well, it seems to me a bit more than luck when you've flown 20 hours twice in 1 year. That seems to me a bit more than luck to me. What would you say about the training then? How many hours training did you give these pigeons?
Well, the training days, they do about 6 or 7 hours. But obviously...
Would that be just 1 day, or would you give them 6 or 7 hours, 2 or 3 days a week?
2 or 3 days a week, right, 6 or 7 hours, right? But if a pigeon's well, you're going to say, you're going to get him, you know, you're going to say he's only going to do 6 or 7 hours.
He would do more, would you say?
Well, if a pigeon's right, he won't come till he's ready.
Yeah.
Obviously, you keep him down.
To control them?
To control them, yeah.
Yeah. And what type of feed would you feed these type of pigeons? To get them in the condition and perhaps the times that you've done?
You got to give them the high protein, the seeds.
You give them plenty of seeds?
Well, I feed them on only corn in training.
During training? What sort of corn is that, Eddie?
Well, depurative.
Yeah?
I feed them depurative on training, just to control them, you know, and obviously...
And when you say to control them, that's to stop them flying longer than what they should fly?
Well, there's no way you can control them.
If you got them too well?
If you got them too well. So, as you know yourself, Nick, you got to give them some rough stuff, as I say, like to control
just
them.
To keep them off flying too long?
On the build-up, you got to give them more protein.
Now, when you say on the build-up, now to build them three pigeons like you built them up to fly that, what sort of corn or seed would you give them, and how often would you give it to them?
Well, I feed them conditioner,
yeah?
The build-up.
You feed them conditioner?
Conditioner. And if you think it's going to be hot day, nice, or like early on the season, it's bad weather,
yeah.
So you've got to give them a bit of light stuff.
So what you do in the early fly, you would feed them a little bit heavier than what you would when the summer comes
That's
round?
right, yeah. And don't forget, these pigeons, they fled every competition.
So
I've fled these every competition, all the old birds, every one. And earlier on in the season, I had to feed them heavier. But as the weather got better, I fed them lighter, conditioning seeds.
Is that, why did you do that, Rick?
Because of the weather.
Because obviously in the winter they need more for the body, and in the summer they don't need so much.
That's right,
because of the weather. Would you say that's mainly because of the weather?
Yeah. Well, the weather has a lot to do with it.
Oh yeah.
Whereas in the later flies, like July towards long day, I mean, the weather's red hot.
Yeah.
A pigeon won't want to be fed heavy then.
No.
He'll be fed lighter.
And if you did feed the pigeon everything,
what do you want at the time, would he?
And what would, when you say you wouldn't at the time, what would happen to the pigeon, Eric?
Well,
It would more than likely be sick
at the time,
or drop and be sick and then fly again.
well, if he's you can overfeed a pigeon, mate, as you know yourself. I mean, if he was overfed, he'd probably fly about an hour and drop away.
And that's because of overfeeding.
And spew up and then fly, probably strike up again and fly all day.
Yeah.
But it's knowing the pigeon and
So
what to feed him on
what
the
you're
day.
saying then, if a pigeon hasn't digested his food,
That's right.
then obviously the pigeon is not in proper condition. He wouldn't fly the time that he should fly.
No. Well, as I said, Mick, you only get out what you put in. And obviously, if you've got a kit of pigeons fit, and you get to know them, because you're down that pen all the time, you'll know exactly how much to give that pigeon and what he'll eat.
So you've really got to put a lot of time in.
Mick, that's it. See, it's all right flying the pigeons on a summer's day, a nice summer's day, but the guys don't see the dark nights when you're frozen to death down the garden in the dark when it's raining and all that.
Yeah.
And you're training your pigeon.
What sort of times have you, like, would you say, I think is for that, especially for that type of pigeon and that kit of pigeon you've got there, what type of hours do you allow it to fly in the dark?
Well, they fled 4 to 5 hours in the dark.
Into the dark?
They surprised me.
That surprised me, I don't know about you.
But like, I've never missed them pigeons.
You've never missed them?
I've never missed them pigeons.
And what would you do if you'd miss one of them? Would you fly them again?
No.
Why wouldn't you fly them again?
You're gonna, if you miss a pigeon,
If you miss a pigeon,
right, you're going to miss them again, Mick.
yeah.
Not necessarily, but it's in the back of your mind. If you missed a pigeon and you fly them again in competition, you've got your 2 birds on the pen, and the one you've missed is still flying.
You can gamble you won't get him. You'll be very lucky to get him.
You may get him,
And you may.
but you're taking a chance there, really.
No, I see.
Your best flying pigeon that you ain't missed. In a competition, when every guy does his own thing,
Yeah.
I mean,
But obviously what we're looking
if
for
you ain't
now,
got the pigeons, you've got to fly them.
yeah, obviously what we're looking for now, Eric, you've achieved this feat, you see, and other people would like to know how you've done it, and
Well,
obviously this is why you're like being interviewed.
On the competition, I've had 2 competitions, well, I've had every competition with them birds. But the particular time, I broke 2 records, right?
Yeah.
Nick, I wouldn't have broke them records. I've done a good time, but I wouldn't have broke them records if it had been for Jim McDonald.
Yeah. And why would you say that then, Eric?
Well, as you know yourself, Mick, on competition, and you fly 19 hours plus, I mean, that is a good time.
Yeah.
Now, them pigeons had done that, and they were still going. And Jimmy McDonald come down the garden, because I was satisfied with 19 hours.
And you would have dropped them?
About 19 and a half hours, I'm ready to run down the pen.
Yeah.
Well, it was a few guys and a few pigeon flies round the
particular
garden that night. It was about a dozen, as it happens. And Jimmy McDonald, experienced flyer like yourself, Mick, he went, let him go, Eric. See? And I just had a bit of luck. And otherwise I shouldn't have broke a record that night. Well, I didn't break a record, I done a couple of good times with them.
Yeah.
But if someone had been there to assure me...
An edge you're on, like, yeah, obviously,
Right.
You've only been a couple of years flying and...
He got the
recently,
experience.
Yeah. And he could see that the pigeon still had a lot left in him,
Yeah.
and he coaxed you to let him go on.
That's
and
right.
you did, and you achieved it.
Yeah.
Would you say you've got to sort of be a bit daring and push
Well,
your
you
luck
are.
with them?
It depends what the guy wants out of his pigeons. I mean, myself, they'd done enough on the day.
Yeah, you thought that, I don't know. So with Jimmy being there, he
encouraged me a
you to
little
let him
bit.
go a bit longer.
Well, I knew, it don't matter what time I come, I knew I wasn't going to miss him. So I never missed it.
Because you've never missed him before.
I knew I was going to get him.
Well done, Eric. It's a fantastic achievement,
All right,
that
Nick.
is. And
Oh,
hope you
by
do
the
it.
way, I had him off you, Mick.
You never had him off me, did you? Thank you very much. Come on. Have you got any reserve on these pigeons?
No.
No. Right, you all know the rules? 50% to the unit, 50% to the buyer. Right. Ron, what have you got a thing is on now? Robbie. Can you just explain to us what they actually are, then people have a better idea of what they're buying or if they're going to buy them. The first one, right? You've got like a, what is it, a black white flight?
Yes, that's 1610 on BD.
Right, we've got a black white flight cock which played 1610. Any offers? Any offers for the first one in 410? £1. A black white flight's fed 1610. It's a cock. It's a last year's cock, is it?
Yes, last year.
The last year's cock. We've got £1 there at the front. £1, £2, £3, £3, £4, £4, £4, £4, £5, £5, £6, £6, £6, going once, twice, gone for £6. State your name, and if you can pay the £6, then you take the pigeon line, right?
No time sheets on any of them.
There's no times on any of these other three birds. They're all cocks. Anybody make me an offer? Any offer? That's pen number 411. Any offer? A pen number 411. There's no times by these next three birds. Any offer? Got to be worth £1. £1 here. No, you've got to take it up in.
Have you got to change?
No. Right, £1. Anybody else? £1. It's got to be worth more than £1, lads. You know, you can't get a good dinner, lads. Move round now, lads. Move round a bit. We've got a young bird here.
Who just has a £2 pigeon?
It's Welsh rung. He's got a few feathers on his screen, but they're nice. That's how they are, his ones here.
It's a money lender.
Yes, it's got a few, a nice blue badge cock here. Young bird, anybody back an offer? £1, £2, £3, £4, £4, a nice blue cock here, young bird. £4, £4, £4, going once, twice, going to the gentleman here for £4. I spent first pigeon in 414. We start at £10. Any other offers? £10. £10. £10 going once, £10 going twice, £10 sold. 414 is sold, gentlemen there for £10. Pen number... Just a different... I mean... These all these pigeons, these 4 pigeons are Les Allens of Swansea. Right, the Les Allens of Swansea. We now come to 415, which is another end. By the way, these are 4 ends. Pen number 415, £10 reserve on this pigeon. Any offers? Any offers above £10? £10 or above? Any? Any offers on pen number 415? There's a £10 reserve on it. No? Pen 16, 16, 15 and 14. These are all Les Allens pigeons from Swansea. The last pigeon of these now is 417. Anybody might be offer above £10? £10 or above? They're all ends. They're all ends. All ends. 4 ends. Right, the last one of this particular gentleman's 417. Anybody might be an offer? £10. £10. £10, anybody? Okay, good news. The first one, by the way, there is a £5 reserve on these pigeons. There is a £5. Pardon? 15, Oh, 15, sorry. There's a £15 reserve on these pigeons.
From Shepherd, you know.
£15 reserve, right? The first one is a hen. It's 16-1.
Drop me, the end's the other end.
You got it here, look.
The end's the
Oh,
other
is that
end.
the end there?
That's the end. There's 2 copies there.
Yeah, it's 4.19, isn't it? 4.19 is the end. So we'll start with the end then, 4.19, as you got it on the sheet. 4.19 and then there's a £15 reserve on. No making offer. £15. £15. £15. Anybody? Right? 39, 4.39. Anybody interested? 4.39. 4.39. Anybody make an offer? Any offers? Withdrawn. 4.40. Anybody to offer? Huh? It's this year. Any offers? Any offers? Pound here? Anybody else? Anybody else? What about £2 too? First prize of whiskey, second 2 pounds, and the third 2 boxes of crackers. Right, here we go then. Steve, if you want to make a draw. Here's the first one, Steve. It is 2 colours, and the first one is on the yellow, and it's 506 to 510 here. It's got to be here. Yes. 506. Now, Alan's won it. He hasn't got the scotch. Here's the next one coming on now. 2 colours on here, yellow tickets and blue tickets.
751 to 755.
On the blue. Right, so the next one on the blue ticket is 751 to 755. On the blue ticket, 751 to 755 on the blue.
Just one till you know.
There we go. I'm only saying the two rounds. If you want to go on the last prize, tell him. Here we go then, the last prize. It's a yellow ticket. It's a yellow ticket and it's 261 to 265. 261 to 265.
Class 6 S Highway. Come on, ladies, you're not here. Class 7 are party elements.
Nada,